Hello and a very warm welcome back. We're thrilled you're joining us for episode 7. Today we're tackling a really crucial skill for, well, pretty much any professional journey, supervising others. Whether you're maybe a new manager, an experienced leader, or just curious about effective team dynamics, this deep dive is packed with insights. We want to help you guide, motivate, and empower your team. So let's dive in and elevate your leadership. For anyone stepping into a leadership role or actually even seasoned managers looking to refine their approach, the first real challenge, and maybe the most foundational, is truly mastering how to define success. We're talking about setting crystal clear expectations, not just for tasks, right?
Yeah.
But for the whole team dynamic. It feels like the cornerstone, isn't it? For everything from hitting deadlines to building camaraderie, even spotting growth opportunities.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that while we all know we should set expectations, the how often gets a bit simplified. We talk about the 5 W's and the H framework, what, why, who, when, how, but where even experienced supervisors sometimes stumble is really drilling down into that why for every single task.
Okay.
It's not just about listing steps. It's connecting a specific requirement to the bigger picture, the organizational purpose. If a report's needed, does your team get why it's critical for a strategic decision? Or is it just another thing to tick off a list?
That makes sense.
That deeper understanding of the end result, who they might need to chat with, how to report back. That really transforms a task into something meaningful.
That's a powerful distinction because, for our audience, we know verbal instructions might be okay for simple, quick things. But you hit on something key. When does okay become, a bit risky? For anything complex, or when accountability really matters, putting those expectations in writing isn't just paperwork. It's like creating a shared, tangible agreement. It's your safety net and your launch pad. You could even have a template, right? Like employee name, a clear expectation statement, the date, then break down the key parts, the steps, the specific end result you want, who to talk to, and when to report back. It just removes all that ambiguity. It empowers people.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, once expectations are clear, the next logical step is goal setting, which isn't just a work skill, it's a life skill, really.
Sure.
Many top organizations use what they call cascading goals. The idea that top-level objectives trickle down, aligning everyone.
Right, seen that model.
But the real trick for a leader is making sure those goals don't just feel imposed. If the company wants a 10% profit boost and marketing aims for 5% more market share, the challenge is getting your team to own that 5%, not just accept it.
How do you do that?
Well, it needs active participation. You've got to show them the direct link between their day-to-day work and that bigger vision. Make that line of sight genuinely inspiring.
And that's exactly where the SMART method comes in. I'm sure many listening are familiar with it. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timed. But let's maybe look beyond just the letters. We know specific avoids vague stuff, measurable lets you track progress. But the A for achievable, that's often where the real art is, isn't it?
It really is.
How do you set goals that stretch your team to develop them without being so out there that people just get demotivated?
Yeah.
It's finding that productive discomfort zone.
Yeah.
And relevant. It's not just about company values. It should align with the person's own growth path, their passions if possible, and timed keeps everyone accountable. Each part, used strategically, creates this powerful engine for getting things done.
Exactly. And beyond just the structure of SMART, how do you give goals real, resonance? This is where the 3 Ps can add some psychological depth.
Okay, the 3 Ps.
Yeah. First, positive. Frame goals for what you will achieve, not what you want to avoid. Focus on success. Second, personal. A goal becomes truly theirs when an employee can say, I will. It connects to their aspirations, not just a task handed down.
Right, ownership.
And third, possible. It needs to be challenging, yes, but still feel realistic within their control. It ignites that internal motivation. The goal feels like an opportunity, not just another chore.
That difference between opportunity and obligation, that's absolutely key. As supervisors, our job isn't just assigning goals. It's helping our staff set them. And crucially, these goals should be designed for the employee's development first, not just to tick our boxes. It's actually fantastic when employees come to those goal-setting meetings prepared with their own ideas, organizational, departmental, personal goals. It shows they're engaged.
And if they don't?
Well, That's a coaching moment, isn't it? Helping them see their own potential in the context of the bigger picture.
That's a brilliant point, because when you approach goal setting and expectation setting with that developmental mindset, you naturally start seeing chances to delegate tasks that genuinely stretch your people. And look, it isn't just about getting stuff off your plate, though that's nice. It's about building their skills, boosting their confidence, and seriously increasing their job satisfaction. It turns a routine task into a growth opportunity. That's a true win-win.
Which brings us nicely to where things get really impactful. Effective delegation. This isn't just, a basic management chore. It's a strategic must-do for any supervisor aiming for high performance and empowering their team.
Absolutely.
Frame it as that win-win. It lets you, the supervisor, focus on the high-priority strategic stuff that really needs your input while your team members get those vital development chances. It builds trust, encourages initiative. It makes for a much more engaged team.
And when you're deciding what to delegate, it's not just passing off something you dislike. You're actively looking for tasks that offer a real growth opportunity for someone. You also have to do a kind of cost-benefit check. Weigh the time it takes to train someone against how often the task comes up. A super complex, one-off thing. Maybe not worth it, but a recurring process, even with tricky training up front, can pay off massively long-term.
Makes sense.
And of course, some things should never be delegated. Critical management stuff like performance reviews, disciplinary actions, or things you're legally responsible for.
Right. So once you know it, the next question is to whom? And this isn't just about who's got bandwidth.
No, definitely not.
You need to consider their experience, their knowledge, specific skills, even their attitude towards a new challenge. Think about their work style. Do they like autonomy, or do they need more structure?
Mm-hmm.
And crucially, try to align the task with their long-term goals and, check their current workload.
Yeah.
That principle of delegating to the lowest possible organizational level, that's powerful.
It really is.
It's not about demoting work. It's about empowering the people closest to it, who often have the best insights for efficiency and innovation.
That leads nicely into the 3 degrees of delegation, each with its own place.
Mm-hmm.
Level 1, complete supervision, max control.
All right.
This is for, genuinely dangerous tasks or things with huge financial or legal stakes.
Good.
Think of a gas engineer apprentice working on a live system. You're right there, watching every move, because failure is just too costly.
Got it. High stakes.
Then, level 2, partial supervision. This is the most common, probably the most dynamic. The employee runs with it, but you set clear checkpoints, you monitor progress. It's finding that balance between freedom and oversight.
The sweet spot.
Exactly. And finally, level 3, complete independence. This is what you're ideally working towards. They handle it all. Your role becomes more about spot checks, being available if they need you. It shows huge trust and capability.
And building on those degrees, there are also different approaches to actually assigning the work, right? They create different dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
The dictatorial approach. Sounds harsh, but sometimes necessary. Direct orders, maybe in a crisis or for tasks nobody wants but just have to get done.
Even
right?
situations, yeah.
Then there's the apple-picking approach. You lay out tasks, people choose. Works well for small teams, or when time's tight. Gives a sense of choice. I remember a client used this for prepping meeting research. Jesse grabbed market analysis, Ling took competitors, it gave them agency.
That can work well.
And finally, the collaborative approach. The team decides together who does what. Best for mature teams, really builds engagement and shared ownership.
Yeah, but regardless of the approach, success really hangs on giving absolutely crystal clear instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And a crucial step people often miss. Explain why you picked that specific person.
Oh, that's interesting.
Saying something like, I chose you for this because your analytical skills are perfect here, that builds confidence, makes them invested. Then outline the goals, timelines, resources, and be clear about that level of supervision you expect.
Right, managing expectations again.
And before they leave, always ask them to quickly summarize the task or what they understand. It's a simple check, but it catches so many potential misunderstandings.
Okay, so tasks are delegated, work's happening. How do we keep things improving? How do we foster growth? That brings us to something absolutely critical. Providing feedback. Whether it's praising great work or offering, constructive criticism, feedback is probably the single most powerful tool for growth, making sure people keep moving forward.
And for feedback to be truly effective, something people actually welcome, it needs 6 key characteristics. There's a handy acronym. STIBA.
STIBA, okay.
Specific, pinpoint the exact behavior, not just good job or needs improvement. Timely, give it close to the event. Waiting a week. The impact fades. Expressed. Directly talk to the person involved, face-to-face if you can. Behavior-focused, focus on what they did, not who they are.
Right, action, not personality.
Exactly. Actionable, make sure it's something they can actually change or improve. And finally, helpful, deliver it respectfully, honestly, with empathy. Show you genuinely want to help them develop.
And when it comes to actually giving that feedback, we have a few tools. There's direct praise or criticism. Quick, to the point. Praise is always good. Direct criticism. Maybe save that for urgent safety stuff. Usually buffer it a bit.
Right.
Then the classic feedback sandwich. Positive, negative, positive. Like, Susan, the stats in your report were spot on. Next time, though, could you please use the company template? Still, really appreciate you getting it in on time. It softens the blow. Good for maybe newer folks or sensitive situations.
But some people find it a bit disingenuous.
True. You have to know your audience. For a more direct approach, there's the open-faced sandwich. Praise, then direct feedback that immediately offer constructive help. Puts more focus on solving the problem together.
And we also need to think about informal versus formal feedback. Know when to use each. Informal is your day-to-day coaching, quick, specific, often on the fly.
Just regular check-ins.
Kind of, yeah. But crucially, always deliver it sensitively and privately. You'd never critique someone in front of the team, right?
Definitely not.
Formal feedback is more structured, often documented, like in performance reviews, focused on long-term development, planned meetings. And for those, always give plenty of notice and be clear about the purpose so people aren't anxious.
That's vital. And flipping back to the positive side, never, ever underestimate the power of positive reinforcement. Supervisors should be really vocal about quality work.
Absolutely.
Actively celebrate team wins. Find something positive to highlight in everyone. It dramatically boosts confidence, builds a culture of excellence, and encourages more great work. Seems simple, but the impact is huge.
To really foster that deep team growth and high performance, you, as a supervisor, you absolutely have to get to know your team individually. Go beyond the CV.
Okay.
Understand what motivates each person, how they prefer to work, what helps or hinders them, their unique skills. And active listening here is just paramount. It's not just hearing words, it's understanding the underlying stuff, unspoken needs, and showing them their opinions genuinely matter.
And that deep understanding then just naturally flows into continuous proactive communication, doesn't it?
It should.
As a supervisor, you should take the initiative. Reach out regularly. Don't just wait for problems to land on your desk. Set up clear channels, maybe a team chat for quick things, regular huddles. Encouraging that open dialogue is brilliant for solving problems quickly and boosting morale. Creates that psychological safety.
Now, inevitably, conflicts will pop up. But handling them well isn't just damage control. It can actually make the workplace more productive, more respectful.
So conflict isn't always bad.
Not if managed well. The open technique is a good structure. First, get everything on the table, everyone's concerns, no judgment. Then, put the problem into focus. Dig down to the real root cause. Next, explore your options. Brainstorm lots of potential solutions. And finally, negotiate a solution, aiming for that win-win.
Win-win is key.
Absolutely. Stay fair, stay objective, and know when you might need to bring in help, like HR or a mediator.
And like you said, problem solving is just part of the job, isn't it? Building that deep trust and setting realistic but challenging goals makes solving those inevitable problems much faster and more collaborative. Your team becomes a proactive unit.
And to really leverage that trust for ongoing innovation, you've got to create a culture where all opinions and ideas are genuinely encouraged. Foster a real open-door culture.
Where people feel safe speaking up.
Exactly. Where respectful dissent isn't just tolerated, it's valued. Never shut down someone for respectfully disagreeing, even if it challenges your idea. That just breeds resentment and keys creativity.
Speaking of management, supervisors also need to manage their own workload, right? It's easy to get swamped.
Oh, definitely.
Many people know the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle. Roughly 80% of results come from 20% of activities. So strategically, you need to focus your energy on those high-impact things. The urgent important matrix, the Eisenhower principle, is another great tool. Helps you sort out what's just urgent versus what's truly important for your big goals. Things like productivity journals or routines can also really help streamline your day.
And for new supervisors, there's a sort of survival guide beyond the basics. First, don't be afraid to ask the right questions of the right people. Managing frontline stuff, go talk to the frontline workers.
Makes sense.
Second, learn to go to Gemba. It's a Japanese concept, the actual place. Physically go see the work being done. Observe, engage, learn from the ground up. Builds empathy, leads to smarter decisions.
I like that. Gemba.
And critically, embrace continuous learning, leadership, communication, team building, your specific field. Learning isn't just formal courses, it's listening, reading, watching, reflecting every day.
That continuous learning is so key. And finally, let's just briefly touch on managing in special situations, because leadership isn't one size fits all. Getting promoted from within your team, that's tricky. Earning respect from former peers, shifting authority, leading a brand new team. You need to understand those stages. Forming, storming, norming, performing, and adapt your style.
Right, Tuckman and Jensen.
And taking over an established team. That needs careful observation first. Understand the dynamics before you shake things up. Adaptability, really, is the foundation of good supervision. And that wraps up our insightful discussion on supervising others. Thank you so much for being with us for Episode 7. We really hope these strategies empower you to build stronger teams and foster a more productive environment. Remember, effective supervision is all about continuous learning and adapting to your team's needs. If you found this deep dive valuable, please give us a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe for more educational content. Until next time, keep leading with impact.
And just as a final thought to mull over, consider the quote from baseball legend Tommy Lasorda. I believe managing is like holding a dove in your hand. If you hold it too tightly, you kill it. But if you hold it too loosely, you lose it. It really sums up that delicate balance, doesn't it? Empowering versus guiding. So what does holding the dove just right mean for your leadership style? How will you find that perfect balance day to day?